Alright, welcome back everyone to the glorious Chinese democracy. And this time we have an interesting situation. So our debt has gone down quite a bit, but our political power is still in the shit. However, we are close to getting a pretty cool little focus called Chinese dominance. Now, this is after cracking down on the three evils: terrorism, separatism, and religious extremism, which are a source of concern for all good SCO members. Yes. So basically, the Chinese domination is going to increase our Communist Party influence enough, or opinion enough, to unchain the 8 democratic parties, which, funnily enough, doesn't decrease CPC opinion, so we are only 2 focuses away from actually having our elections, which is a quite cool thing. Now, getting this Chinese dominance basically means that we are trying to elbow out the Russians, and you can't see it, but right now I am like making a, evil gesture in the direction of my computer, like I'm trying to wrestle with Vladimir Putin or something. Anyway, so that's... Oh! I did not expect that to happen. See, I actually expected them to stay in it. That is pretty bad, actually. Okay, that was a bad thing. Anyway, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization was historically run as a joint Sino-Russian effort. However, Chinese dissatisfaction with this arrangement has reportedly led Russia being forced into a more junior position within the organization. Russian officials are reportedly furious, yeah, it seems like, yeah, and bitter about the humiliation of the Slavic giant that has taken place in full view of SCO member states. Geopolitical ramifications of this move in terms of hegemony over Central Asia are likely to be substantial. So yeah, basically, this is quite good though, because this means that only we can do SCO initiatives with the Central Asians, and that should help us undermine Russia's... Oh, requires all of the following. So we actually can't take an alliance to rival NATO because we require the strengthening of the security framework. Damn! So apparently the emphasizing military cooperation is really a lot better. See, because the real important thing that is around here is the alliance to rival NATO. But oh well, looks like the Shanghai Pact will be sad and alone for now. But I wonder if we can use the SCO to fuck up Russia any further. Or have we just lost it? No, we haven't lost it. Interesting. So Chinese aggression now is obviously higher at 4. Anyway, that is... see, if I had known that that was gonna be the result of that... I'm not sure if it's 100% or if it's like a decision for the AI, like a 50-50 or something. In that case, we definitely should have taken the equal partners. We probably still... Yeah, we're still pretty friendly with the Russians. But, yeah, a lot of our positive modifiers will now go away because they're not in the SCO anymore. That is pretty cancerous for us. Alright, there we go. Shenyang J15 about to be researched. And not a moment too soon because we have obtained our first aircraft carrier, which is called the Jiangsu, which is a province in China now. The first Chinese aircraft carrier is supposed to be called the Liaoning, but whatever. There we go. And we shall merge it up with this fleet over here. What? Are you big stupid? Okay. You seem to be incredibly big stupid. Okay. This is incredibly retarded and dumb. Very, very dumb. Very, very retarded. I like how, by the way, the Admiral Kuznetsov class has a light attack, which is correct. Alright, how about... Okay. So will you automatically reinforce it? You're already a reserve fleet. It gets automatically kicked out. You do not know how dumb this is. Like, this is insanely dumb. What? It just automatically goes away. If I turn on auto reinforcements. This has to be the most retarded thing I've ever seen from, like, the Hearts of Iron 4 naval system, and I've seen quite a few retarded things from it. Okay, apparently the reinforcement system really doesn't like the possibility of aircraft carriers being in there. Anyway, that aside, that definitely improves our navy by quite a lot. I'm gonna have to figure out, like, task force strengths, because I really have no bloody clue. But for now, I have divided, and the right-wing nationalists have won in the USA, which, funnily enough, is not the worst thing ever, because that's definitely going to reduce American influence, because it's also gonna sort of put the whole American sphere into instability, because the United States generally has a lot of like economic influence, and that's going to translate into nationalist outlook, because the right-wing populist nationalists just really, really like to win in this version. What the fuck? That's hilarious. So Myanmar had given over the reins of government to Aung San Suu Kyi. But apparently in an election, the military parties won. That's top level. Although, there doesn't really appear to be like any ideological requirements to choose any of these focuses. How interesting. Anyway, we're continuing our Crisis in the Kremlin-like political game, where we're trying to not die, basically, while we set up the elections in a way that the CPC wins, and we're doing okay. We're still keeping the 35% support line, you could say. Interesting. We can actually see, like, quote-unquote, how much they got in the last elections, aka the current parliament, the National People's Congress, how it's, partitioned. And, like, for example, the China Association for Promoting Democracy, who are the neutral social democrats, have gone up by 5%. The Federation for Chinese Democracy, who are the pro-Western social democrats, have gone up 3%. The People's Liberation Army are the ones that have actually gained the most, going from 0.5% to 10%. And obviously the Imperial House of Qing probably didn't have anything, but apparently the Imperial House of Qing now is around. Whatever. Yeah, you can probably pretty easily get... Oh wow, awesome. Our Marine divisions are growing by quite a bit. Yeah, our Marine Army is going to be very, very important for the fight over the Spradleys, which is going to be happening very soon. There we go. Unchain the 8 democratic parties. Democracy with Chinese characteristics. Now, the 8 democratic parties, what are they? Kazakhstan is giving us development assistance. Okay. While the Communist Party dominates Chinese politics, 8 other legal parties exist as part of the country's political system. However, up until now, they have had little influence over policy and lack an independent voice. The lifting of restrictions on these existing political parties could act as a test to assert the viability of establishing a multi-party democracy with China. And democracy as we know it is European in origin. While our recent liberalizations have put us on a path towards adopting a Western-style institutions, that does not mean that we have to compromise our traditional cultural values. So yes, we shall institute the democracy with Chinese characteristics, which is gonna fuck up our political power quite a bit, but oh well. Now, Communist Party cadre give us less task cost, more division defense on core territory, and more army organization regain. And going down and taking support of communists is gonna, for some reason, replace the Communist Party cadre with labor unions. Which is a really weird thing, if you ask me. And so I don't think that that would be a good idea to get, because we'd probably lose a lot of these bonuses. Because in our focus tree, we don't really have that many ways to interact with the labor unions. Okay, Solomon Island leaders. Ooh, Sri Lanka, that's something that interests me a lot, actually. Oh wow, the People's Alliance, the Social Democrats. The neutral Social Democrats are so incredibly dominant in Sri Lanka. Well, I'm guessing that, like, inside there's there is a little bit of a few different parties vying for control. But non-aligned in general is very dominant, which I'm guessing is a product of India. Ooh, Mongolia asks for that bailout. Of course, Mongolia. My good Mongolian friends. Anything for you, as long as you don't join the Russians. Japan has a lot of influence in Mongolia. The little bitches. I'm guessing they're investing in, like, Mongolian infrastructure. Yeah, like, from whence could that, like, high level of infrastructure come from? I'm guessing from the bloody Japanese. The bloody Japs. Oh yeah, right, we should probably spend some of our money in, like, Burma or whatever. Oh shit, that was more money than we had. Or, well, just as much money as we had. To build a civilian factory in Burma. It doesn't really matter whoever wins the political struggle in Burma. I'm gonna try to just let them do whatever they want to do, and at some point, I'm gonna come in and interfere with their politics to try to get the emerging outlook to win. Which would, I think, be quite nice. Ooh, more drilling for oil near the Chinese Spratleys. That is gonna be increasing our oil production by quite a lot. As you can see, 13 oil already is coming in. And in the meantime, we're trying to get our factories produced. But as you can see, it's going to take a long time. And there we go. Now we have completed the construction of our aircraft carriers. And I wouldn't mind upgrading, like, my submarine fleet. But that is not an option right now. So we're gonna get some frigates. Where's my second aircraft carrier? It's probably up there in Liaoning. Yep, it's the Zhejiang. For a while, I won't be building any more carriers because I want to research additional carrier tech before I do so, because these things are quite expensive when it comes to resources and dockyard, you know, space. So I don't want to really waste my resources on these older ships that won't be as useful later on in combat. Well, and as you can see, these things have, like, a really, really cool model. They do look like... oh yeah, they actually look pretty much like the Type 001, which is the newest Chinese aircraft carrier, which is based upon the Admiral Kuznetsov class, or rather, the Varyag class, which was the Soviet you know, class from which the Admiral Kuznetsov itself is derived. And later got turned into the Liaoning aircraft carrier after the Chinese purchased the Ukrainian aircraft carrier, which is like a giant weird story that at some point I kind of want to talk about, because like at some point someone sold it to someone as like a floating like gambling hotel. Or rather, well, that someone was Ukraine, I think, or maybe it was another aircraft carrier, and then the other one they bought from Ukraine. I don't remember exactly what happened, because Ukraine basically inherited this aircraft carrier from the Soviet Union and had no use for it. And eventually the Chinese bought it and refurbished it after a very long and convoluted process that, again, I don't remember exactly, but I would like to kind of study it and turn it into a video or something, because it's just ridiculous. Anyway, China institutes the democracy with Chinese characteristics. So Tseng Qinghong has announced that China will henceforth no longer be a one-party state. Having already removed restrictions on the existing non-CCP political parties, the government has started allowing other parties to register in the country's first free and fair elections. However, Tseng Qinghong, yeah, there we go, election campaign, cautioned against taking this decision as a move by China towards the West. While we have decided to accept this Western import of democracy, we are simultaneously determined to preserve China's cultural values and long-term stability. A historical moment. Now, we get liberal government, actually. Look at that, plus 30% production efficiency growth, but especially plus 30% research speed and plus 0.20% weekly stability. That is some strong modifiers. Now, the problem is a lot of pro-Western support and a lot of pro-non-alliance support. And minus 20% base stability and minus 30% base political power gain. But, you know, there's just some strong modifiers. However, it's going to make our game overall, I think, harder because, again, I do want to keep the CCP in power, at least temporarily. Well, temporarily, at least while we finish our focus tree. So I'm not sure exactly, you know, how easy that is going to be. Anyway, so the election campaign is heating up as the race enters the final 2 weeks. Since the last election on December 1996, not really, Tseng Qinghong has been steadily steering China. Not really. Emerging, okay. With the final votes being cast in 2 weeks, this direction will be challenged by powerful rivals. And as you can see, that the CCP is at 27%. Oh shit, we actually have minus 500 per local power, so we're gonna have to bring along some people in a coalition government. We're gonna win, but we're gonna have a coalition government, at least at the start. The Communist Party cadre is providing massive help in intimidating people to vote for Tseng Qinghong. The military is providing massive help to intimidating people to vote for us. And the industrial conglomerates are providing a massive amount of campaign funding. So we're going to get a bunch of assistance in the voting by our loyal factions. All right. We could actually get some more support for the communists, but actually the election will be over before then, so no point. Ooh, elitist politics. But it would be better to take this... Oh. Oh. Well, I am a big dumb. Apparently I should have taken the succession question first. Because this does not allow us... Huh, that's a little dumb. Like, the succession question... But then nothing else. Oh, it does not have elections. Okay, so Xi Jinping. How interesting. So we're stuck with this guy? We're stuck with Tseng, unless we want to retire, in which case we're gonna get Xi Jinping, most likely. How interesting. Well, that locks us out of a lot of our political focus tree. That is honestly quite cancerous. You know, honestly, I feel like I feel like I should have looked at this a little bit more. Oh well, for now we're just gonna accept that and go on, but if this continues, we're gonna have to, you know, cheat through these focuses to get down to one of these agendas so that we can actually, like, take the rest of the thing, because out here there's nothing that requires elections, and, you know, this is just, like, policy, you know, Communist Party policy. Like, if there were elections, I really don't see... Yeah, like, for example, amend the Constitution, X does not have elections. So basically, the earlier you do this transition to democracy thing, the more you're locked out of the focus tree, which is weird. We're gonna, at some point, I'm gonna cheat through the thing because I feel like it's dumb. Anyway, that means I have more time to do Chinese mega projects. 75 civilian factories. 75 civilian factories. We are about to be ready to start our, you know, economic charge into the world. Anyway, speaking of charging into the world, tackle drug trafficking. Yeah, we're gonna have to be interacting with both Africa and Southeast Asia very, very soon. So what should we be doing? I feel like I should not be taking any focuses for now, just to get extra political power. Or, I mean, I guess plus 25 political power for 35 days is, it's not as much income as, like, just not taking any focuses, but